This video is brought to you by Squarespace. A few months ago, I posted a video talking about 10 difficult books that I wanted to read because I'm insane. One book in particular got a host of reactions, to the point that even one man said that he stopped watching my content by the mere mention of it. Out of all the books on my bookshelves that are considered difficult, there's only one that can truly be considered the most controversial. And today, in this video, I conquer my fear.
Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. Yes, this is the book that got dumped on the most on that video. Disclaimer, I do not claim to be a fan of Miss Rand. In fact, of what I know of her personal life, she's not a human being that I would root for, okay? Just to throw that out there. But I've always been interested in reading this book. It's not for any political reasons, it's not for any philosophical reasons, it's because as a reader, I am attracted to big novels. And she's chunky, okay? This is, oh gosh, what is this? It's 1,168 pages. Huh? What now? This video is going to be tackling why is this book so bloody controversial in my comment section. With all of these comments across the spectrum of like to dislike to hate to loathing to it's garbage, I thought I have to read this book as soon as possible, and I am finally doing that in this video. I'm not going to be going into her politics. That's not what this video is. If you want a discussion about her politics and you want to start having some heated debates, don't have that in my comment section. Go to somebody else's. I'm going to be looking at her philosophy, and I'm going to be looking at the plot, the characters, the actual story of the novel. As a reader, that's what I'm interested in. Without further ado, Atlas Shrugged. But first, a word from today's sponsor. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Have you ever wanted to start a completely personalized website, blog, storefront space? Look no further, Squarespace has you covered. If you're someone who gets a little intimidated by technology, Squarespace makes it simple and easy to use so that you can create your personalized presence online just like that. You can use tools such as their Blueprint AI, that you can use professionally curated tools and or layouts and styling options to help make your business yours. They also provide SEO tools that help it easy to launch your website. As somebody who makes content online, I personally really like their analytics side of things. I like to see numbers, I like to see engagement, and you can track all of that using Squarespace. It makes it so much easier to handle and understand. So head on over to squarespace.com to start your free trial now, or head to squarespace.com/IanGubeli to get 10% off your first domain. Thank you again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Back to it. Okay, it has been a very long time. I cannot read anymore until I update you. So I'm nowhere close. But I have made it to chapter 6, which is on page 127 of 1168. Why do I do this to myself? So far, she's not gone off the rails. Pun intended, get it? It's a book about trains. I've been saving that one. She hasn't gone overboard with hyper commentary is what I could call it, because I know in her works she has these tediously long monologues on the philosophy that she invented and her political stances and all of that. The stuff that's really controversial. She hasn't gotten into any of that yet. It's really just been building up the story and introducing you to these characters. We've been introduced to a brother and sister who own a railroad company. We've been introduced to a metal manufacturer who has invented a new type of metal. I want to give people just a glimpse into what this book is about. This is the story of a man who said that he would stop the motor of the world and did. Was he a destroyer or the greatest of liberators? Why did he have to fight his battle? Not against his enemies, but against those who needed him most, and his hardest battle against the woman he loved. This is technically a romance, by the way. What is the world's motor, and the motive power of every man? You'll know the answer to these questions when you discover the reason behind the baffling events that play havoc with the lives of the characters in this story. Tremendous in its scope, this novel presents an outstanding panorama of human life, from the productive genius who becomes a worthless playboy, to the great steel industrialist who does not know that he is working for his own destruction, to the philosopher who becomes a pirate, to the composer who gives up his career on the night of his triumph, to the woman who runs a continental railroad, to the lowest track worker in her terminal. So we have a large cast of characters that I still haven't even met all of those people. I've already been introduced to that early on. There's kind of a bit of a flashback, at least the female character. What is her freaking name? Dagny. Her name is Dagny. Yes, that is the name that her parents gave her. That's a golden ticket right there to get bullied in high school. We've already been introduced to her when she was a teenager, and she fell in love with this boy that is a childhood friend, and he fell in love with her, and so I think they have kind of a tumultuous relationship. They're not together currently, but they haven't seen each other in like a decade or so, and roll the montage. Okay, one major thing that I don't like about this book so far, and I'm nearly, it's not been that long, I'm almost 150 pages in. The dialogue doesn't feel like it's dialogue that's actually happening between two authentic human beings. I don't think Miss Rand knew how normal people spoke to one another. It's as if she's invented every character to act as a philosopher of some sort, and they speak to each other in those terms. When people told me that the writing is bad, I'm already seeing what you mean. On the other hand, there are times where she said something that is like, whoa, that was beautifully said. I'm very impressed with the writing at some points. I mean, look at this. These two men are talking. I couldn't even tell you the context in which what even the fetch are talking about. But these two men are talking. One guy's extremely rich. The other guy's also rich. One of the guys doesn't want to meet the other guy, but the other guy forces him to meet him anyway. It's like, what do you want to talk to me about? And he's like, in order to become acquainted with you. That's not an answer. It's just another way of saying the same thing. Not quite, Mr. Eden. Unless you mean in order to gain my confidence. No, I don't like people to speak or think in terms of gaining anybody's confidence. All right, what do you want if it's not my confidence? I want to learn to understand you. What for? For a reason of my own For a reason of my own which need not concern you at present. What do you want to understand about me? And then the guy looks out the window and sees a storm brewing, and blah, blah, blah. And he just changes subjects and goes, it's a terrible night for any animal caught unprotected on that plain. That is when one should appreciate the meaning of being a man. Like, stick to the subject, lady. They say whatever they want, whenever they want, and it doesn't make any sense. There's been more than one character that talks about philosophy and economics and politics. It's confusing for me to grasp which one is speaking Miss Rand's mind. There's characters that are going to oppose her beliefs in this book that she creates, and they're going to sound very stupid. And then I think there's going to be characters that project her beliefs and illustrate her values very clearly. I'm hoping it's going to be clear, and they're going to, be the most eloquent, and they're going to sound the most sophisticated. Right now, the writing is just bad. I'll catch back up with you when I slog through a bit more, okay? Okay, I thought I'd film and get my current thoughts off my chest before I forget them. So this book certainly has its problems. I will not deny that. I didn't want to update you until I was at least 25% of the way through. You want to know what 25% of 1168 is? 292! Did you hear that? 292 pages. 25%, dude, I'm nowhere. But I knew going into this one, it wouldn't be like reading a Stephen King novel or reading Lord of the Rings. This is on a completely different level. This is a totally unrelated. Those authors are actually good at their job. That's being a little bit unfair. Ayn Rand is not necessarily a bad author. I see within her writing the potential for something really outstanding. But what I'm getting is sections of the book that are actually worthwhile, and the story's great. The plot is moving along. And then she decides to ruin it with a conversation. Or over-explaining how somebody's feeling. But she also wants to weave in trying to be a philosopher with that explanation of how somebody feels. And I just want her to shut up. But I know that this book has a really strong romance plot. I don't know who's going to be loving on who. I know it's going to be Dagny and someone. Most likely it's going to be Hank. The whole point of this relationship between these two characters and the whole reason behind what they're doing is so that Ayn Rand can teach you, if you believe in something and you work as hard as you can to achieve whatever you're trying to achieve, you'll be successful. Really, I mean, really good. But just the random shite that these people say to each other. I've got a little bit more that I have to read tonight. I'm setting page counts for myself. So let's get back to it, I guess. It's not bad, but it's not good either. It's kind of somewhere. It's somewhere. Well, I know who's getting together. I know who the romance is between. Not a shocker there. But is infidelity really a way to start a relationship? She talks about certain things being immoral and saying this is moral and this is immoral. And at one point in the book, earlier on, they were talking about how immoral it is for somebody to monopolize on a market and how, oh, you're not giving a fair opportunity to the smaller businesses to make money. That's immoral. Yet she has characters, one of which who is married, sleep with another person. And now he's like, I'd give up my whole world for you. Are we not going to have some consistency in our morality? On one hand, she's saying that it's immoral to not be greedy. Throughout places in this book, she's saying that it's a good thing to be selfish. It's a good thing to be greedy. But then on the other hand, she's not going to condemn actual sinful acts. It's what they chose to do, so it's okay. We're gonna get into her philosophy soon. I kind of want to explain it because it is just not, it's not a good philosophy. Have some time to kill while at work. Did you hear that thud? That was like a body hitting the floor. The body's hit the floor. Anywho, look at this beast. Oh my gosh. What's a good goal to hit today? I'm gonna get into part 2. That's a good goal. Dude, these chapters are massive. Her chapters are so big. Oh gosh, look at these massive paragraphs. In the 600s. Okay, we're gonna get into that crap in the 600s. Okay, if I make it that far. Hi. It's been quite a long time since we last spoke about Atlas Shrugged. Where the freak is my phone? Oh my gosh, guys. It's been like weeks since I told you anything short of an update for this book. I'm on page 752. This book has taken me almost 2 months to read. Up to this point, you may be thinking that I hate this book. And for the first 250, 300 pages, yeah. I was like, what am I doing? What am I getting myself into? But there's been a change of events. As you can see, there are things that I like about this book. That is a little bit scary to say. I know there's a lot of people on the internet that hate this book. And those people always seem to creep their way into my comment section. I'm not afraid to say I like parts of this book. As a whole, I don't know if, to me, this doesn't feel like a fictional story. This just feels like a really imaginative way to teach philosophical concepts. I don't know how to catch you up on where I'm at. This freaking book is, I've been listening on and off between the audiobook and physically reading this thing because I need help with this. Anyone who judges me for using the audiobook for not reading the book, just get over yourself. I needed assistance with this book because holy crap, the way she writes sometimes. But there's a lot of stuff that I listened to yesterday while I was driving to work. I had a very long drive for work that I needed to mark down. I thought we could have a little annotation session. found what I was looking for. I can't, in all honesty, say that this book is bad. There are moments where I'm in it, the story is really good, I'm invested, but then she hits me. She hits me with gems like this. And it's quotes like this. You're reading a conversation between a man named Ellis Wyatt and one of our main characters, Dagny Taggart. She has just woken up from a plane crash. She's in this kind of picturesque, beautiful valley. Certain individuals have essentially seceded from, I hate to say it, but it's pretty much socialist America. And they have seceded, they've hidden themselves away in the Rocky Mountains to live free lives according to their own laws, kind of a thing, and picture of what a capitalist utopia would be. And I know so many people have so many different opinions on that. This channel's not for that kind of talk. Go somewhere else to have that in the comment section. I'm not saying that I agree or disagree or whatever, but this statement, I think if there's anything that you take away from Miss Rand's arguments, points, philosophy, whatever, this is something that I think all of us can agree with. Dagny is talking to Ellis Wyatt and she's asking him, why are you here? Like, why are you working for essentially no profit? Why are you working for, like, what are you working toward if you're not working toward like a common goal or a common good or a social good? He says this, I'm producing everything I need. I'm working to improve my methods, and every hour I save is an hour added to my life. It used to take 5 hours to fill that tank. Now it takes 3. The 2 I saved are mine, as pricelessly mine as if I moved my grave 2 further hours away for every 5 I've got. It's 2 hours released from one task to be invested in another. 2 more hours of which to work, to grow, to move forward. That's the savings account I'm hoarding. Is there any sort of safety vault that could protect this account in the outside world? And then he goes down, and this hit me so hard. He's like, what greater wealth is there than to own your life and to spend it on growing? The most important commodity to me is my time. I value my time more than I value the money that I earn every day. You know, the things that I own. I value time greater in wealth or greater in price to me than anything, really. I mean, that's why I'm doing things like YouTube. If I didn't have to work for money, I wouldn't. If I could spend my time doing something else that I actually want to do and work on improving myself in other ways or improving things that I'm decent at and get better at those and just live a life and own my own life, that's appealing to just about anyone, I would hope. Unless you just don't have hobbies or interests that you'd like to pursue every day. That hits so hard because I feel like with the grind of our modern culture, we're taught that we need to keep going, and do this for 40, 50 years and then retire. And that's just, I don't know, that just doesn't appeal. What greater wealth is there than to own your own life and to spend it on growing? That's what I want. That's what I want for me and Ashlyn. That's what I want for all of you watching. I want everybody to own their own life. Not to say that you don't, but the thing is, it feels like so many things are trying to steal our time away. It's stuff like that impresses me about Miss Rand's talking points. Truly. There's a lot to think about. There's a lot of good, obviously. I wouldn't have marked any of this if I didn't think it was insightful. At the same time, I'm not going to go around saying that she was the greatest thinker ever and that her philosophy is solid and that, there's a lot that I disagree with, but there's also a lot that I can find myself agreeing with at the same time. Long rant aside, let's finish the book.
This is one chapter, 752 to 816.
I'm so done with this book and this video. Yesterday, I read more of this book in one day, sometimes one sitting, than I have the past month and a half. Come and say hi. Oh, he's so sweet. Right here. He's right here.
Oh.
Yes.
Ooh, comfy clothes. You are in the Nook and Cranny Cook.
People don't disregard what I don't know what she even said. So nook and cranny cook. So I'm on chapter 7 of part 3. I'm on page 1000. I'm done. I'm burned out at both ends on this project. I didn't think I'd last this long, to be honest. I was gonna read as much as I could physically take in and emotionally and mentally grasp and then just move on to something else. And I thought, screw it, no, I wanna read the whole book. We're pretty much there. But I have a confession to make. I'm so done that this attitude is seeping into the rest of my life. And it's not healthy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the most infamous chapter in the entire book. And then we're gonna get final thoughts and then we're gonna be done. I'm in a slump. I'm in a slump. I'm done. I'm done. I finished. I've read Atlas Shrugged. The last 168 pages were a bit rough, especially because of that infamous chapter I told you about. What makes that chapter so grueling? It has a 60-page monologue from one character. And this character embodies everything that Ayn Rand is, was, what she stood for, what her philosophy stands for. Today, his speech was the embodiment of everything that she worked for in her life. There were times during it that I was kind of like, okay, I get the point. And then it just got circular again, and she kept repeating herself. Ugh. It was a lot. But within it, the 4 pillars of her philosophy known as objectivism shined through like a burning, bloody beacon. Objectivism can be broken down into 4 main categories or pillars. The first being something known as objective reality. Objective reality simply states that there is a reality outside or independent from human consciousness. It is something that exists regardless of whether we want it to or not. I don't really think that's something that we need to try to dispute or talk about because objective reality exists, just like the sun shines and the wind blows. I'm guessing that's just a foundational point that she used as like, okay, things are real. Let's move on. The second pillar, and this is where she starts getting a little niche and a little radical, but the second pillar is absolute reason. Absolute reason is a little bit problematic as far as I could gain from just reading Atlas Shrugged. Absolute reason has to do with man's reasoning ability and or power is the most powerful thing. Essentially, man cannot know anything apart from his reason. Critically thinking is essential to human life and survival, and if you refuse to think, you die. How she kept reiterating that man can only acquire knowledge through his reason. I just don't agree with that. I mean, I myself am a Christian. I've made that clear on this channel. I hold to the belief that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, and that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. I do not believe that the beginning of knowledge begins with reason. I believe it belongs foundationally in God. But of course, she was an atheist, so she would have a lot to say to me, and I'm sure there might be some people that have some stuff to say to me in the comments. We all have our opinions, do we not? The third pillar of objectivism is something known as individualism, which essentially asserts that the greatest purpose anybody could have in life is to pursue their own happiness. I'm all about people, finding happiness, finding joy in life. But again, as a Christian, I don't believe those things can really be fully satisfied and realized in someone's life apart from God. Oh, the way she paints that picture in the book is so bad. According to individualism, you can do whatever you want, however you want, to whomever you want, whenever you want. That's why the romance in the book was between a married man and a woman that took him away from his wife. And in real life, that happened to Ayn Rand. She had this open relationship. She was married to a man, and they both consented to allow her to have a lover on the side. And it was all fine and dandy for a decade or so until she found out that her lover was having other lovers on the side, and she got mad at him and said, how dare you? But according to individualism, within the lens and context of objectivism, it was his moral right to be able to do that, but she got mad anyway. Individualism can only go so far before it starts really becoming an immoral issue. And then the fourth and final pillar is this thing called laissez-faire capitalism, which I don't want to go into that. I'm not going to say whether I agreed or disagreed with anything to do in the political realm of what she taught. Let's just say Atlas Shrugged does have its problems, but it also has some gems, and I feel like if people were to just kind of step back and be open-minded with everything, they would find the good among the bad and the bad among the good, as is generally the case. I both enjoyed and despised it at the very same time. I will not be rating it because a book like this, I don't really know if it can be rated, folks. Thank you so much for watching this video. And thank you so much again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Head on over to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch your future into the next domain, check out the link down below to save 10% off your first domain/website. I'll see you guys on the next one.